Antonio in Baltimore. Hi, Sal.
Good morning, SB. And I covered that game back in January, and I remember the focal point in that game was Derrick Henry's 195 yards rushing right on that field behind me, and that is the focal point in this football game, stopping Derrick Henry for the Tennessee Titans. And it's Baltimore Ravens. John Harbaugh said, you know what, we practiced it all week. We have very specific gaps that based on what our fronts are and their schemes are, without Calais Campbell, not expected to play, also not expected to play defensive tackle Brandon Williams. And when they don't have Brandon Williams, in the 7 games they've not had him, they've given up an average of 165 yards rushing. And John Harbaugh said it's going to take a great effort. It's going to take all we've got, SP.
Yeah, that's a tough loss for them, no doubt about that. Thanks, Sal. As we take a look at the AFC playoff picture, this game in Baltimore could be huge for tiebreakers down the road. The Ravens are currently in the last wild card spot while the Titans are on the outside looking in. And they're 2 of the 6 teams at 6-3 in the AFC entering today. So, Teddy, look, we know this is a big game for the Ravens today, but what do you feel like they still need to get figured out against the Titans today?
Well, I want to say identity, but they're sure on what their identity is supposed to be, guys. I mean, they're supposed to be a tough, physical, aggressive, running football team offensively. So that's what they hang their head on. We're tough. We can run it even when you know we're going to run it. But that's gone. So now that's gone, and you're getting injuries. Boyle, the tight end, goes down. Stanley, the tackle, goes down, and you're not even doing it as effective. It's like you have to find something else, and something else I don't think they have. Because when that happens, Hasselbeck, and you don't have a running game as an offense, you got to lean on the quarterback to be a passer. I don't think they have that with Lamar Jackson, so I'm very concerned about this Raven team. Usually the defense can pick it up for them, get some turnovers. They've got injuries there too, but this is a critical point in the season for them right now because they lost to a New England Patriots team that out-toughed them. And that very thing can happen again with Tennessee.
Brew, you mentioned that, and I was with John Harbaugh's first year, and his whole thing is we're going to build a bully. And they got out-bullied by the New England Patriots. So I get where you're coming from. And the biggest bully in the league is this Derrick Henry today.
Yeah.
I mean, watch out. But I want to show you a tape, though, that I think it may interest the fans here a little bit. Because from a defensive perspective, trying to stop Lamar Jackson, what's happening? Well, I tell you what's happening is the first thing you do is I've got to figure a way to contain this guy to keep him from running all over me when he drops back. This is a 2-man rush here. But look at New England. Now I'm going to close the edges. And by the way, look how spectacular Lamar is. That thing should have been stopped. He still gets an 8-yard gain. That's why the focus is on this guy. He is so special. But you're going to see last year when the Titans went up against him, this is a 4-man rush. But watch what they do. They're showing blitz. They back out. And now they're going to twist. They're going to take away his vision. And that's how you collapse a pocket. So watch for that today. Again, here's one. This is a 3-man rush. Says 4-man. Shows 4. He backs out. It's only a 3-man. But you got to make sure you have everything coordinated up front first off. And last year, the Titans, everybody knows they held the Ravens to 12 points. But, Matt, you and I were talking about it yesterday. How many yards did Lamar have in that game?
He threw for over like 365, and he ran for 100 and something.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, literally 500 yards of offense for one guy, but they kept him out of the end zone. But today, when you're watching, watch how this Titans defense tries to contain Lamar from running out of there on him.
You know, there's 2 big names that's missing from this game. You just talked about Calais Campbell, and another one is Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney missing from this game. They need a guy to step up in the absence of Clowney because of what you just showed of what Lamar Jackson does come in and be able to sustain the running game and beat and get back to the bully ball. Because you're talking about a guy, I just said Calais Campbell missing in that middle for the Baltimore Ravens. And you got, what you say, the biggest bully in the National Football League in Derrick Henry. So with those 2 names that I just mentioned are missing, I think for me, doing what I seen last year from the Baltimore Ravens, this is a big day for the Baltimore Ravens to get back on track from last week and to get Lamar Jackson's confidence back
I think it's 2 critical things. You mentioned the first one, red zone. You got to score in the red zone. The other one is 4th down. Like, nobody goes for it more, it feels like, than John Harbaugh on 4th down. And in the matchup last year, the reason that the Baltimore Ravens really lost it, they didn't score in the red zone, but it was those 4th down conversions. 0 for 4. Tennessee's defense stood up against the bully. They became the bully. 0 for 4, and they got 0 yards and on all 4 of them combined. And so you look at it this year. Where's Tennessee really struggled this year? They've struggled in short yardage defense. Was a strength last year. It's been a weakness this year. I think that's what decides the game today. It's going to come down to John Harbaugh being risky. And even on the flip side, like, let's talk about Tennessee for a second. They've had struggles with their kicking game recently. They've got a new snapper, a new holder. They've had blocked punts. So 4th down, like, don't turn away on 4th down in this game. It could be the deciding factor.
I got a gut feeling it's almost like it's time for the Ravens to start breaking out some gadgets. I mean, some special teams gadgets, something on offense, some type of trick plays, because beware the team that can only win one way. Those are the teams that get eliminated, that don't make the playoffs or are one and done in the playoffs. And right now, the Ravens are a one-way team, offensively especially, when you don't have that throwing aspect at the quarterback position. So they need to find something else and manufacture it, maybe through gadgets.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, Teddy, from a statistical standpoint. Lamar technically only has 1 fewer touchdown pass throwing the ball than he did last year through 9 games. So why do you think
I think he's getting a little bit of a bad rap right now throwing the ball because he's had so many bad weather games, or I'm just thinking maybe of the last game. Like, I expect to see a better version of Lamar as we go. He got actually really hot late in the year last year. I would expect the passing game to come on and be a little bit better. He set such a high standard, it's hard to live up to it. But I believe in him as a passer, I think maybe more than everybody else.
Yeah.
But
there's no doubt about it that he set the standard.